Okay, so I know it can't just be me. I know it's not just me that feels like each and every week Jujutsu Kaisen's anime is like a damn event. I mean, it's like, yo, grab your popcorn, get that shit ready, fire up the TV, and just go nuts because Jujutsu Kaisen, fam, episodes 8 and 9, yet again, it feels like a movie, and at times, I'm not gonna lie, kind of feels like I'm watching a horror movie. It kind of feels like this is somewhat in the realm of a horror anime, and it's masked with like, yo, it's from Shonen Jump, you know, all of that jazz, but there's some dark stuff, like, especially episode 9, but we're gonna talk about 8 and 9 in here. There's some dark stuff, but at the same time, fam, you want a little bit of light stuff? Okay, bet. Todo! The introduction to Todo, which I'm gonna keep it all the way 1,000. If I was in Jujutsu Kaisen, more than likely, one of my best friends, my brother, would definitely be Todo, because we kind of have the same taste, fam. When he's talking about his taste in women, I'm like, yeah. Yes, people, it's time to talk about the great one, the one that is trending #1 and #2 in Japan each and every freaking week, that Jujutsu Kaisen. Yes, people, I think it's becoming a staple at this point, and it's fair to call it greatness. Yo, introduction to Todo, Nanami, episodes 8 and 9. My gosh, let's talk.
I say we gonna do what we do, no matter how you move, make your move. That's how it be, though.
Okay, so we're gonna go in order. We're gonna start with 8, and then we'll get to the horror fest of Mahito and everything that we got with the movie theater stuff in 9. But 8, I cannot ignore it. I can't skip over it. I can't just act like it didn't happen because it was so freaking epic. The introduction to Todo and Mai, which I'm not even gonna front. Don't get me wrong. I'm still Nobara all the way. Team Nobara, Kugisaki. You already know the vibes and shit. But that Mai, though. That Mai, I'm just saying, the introduction to Todo and Mai, and seeing that, yo, Todo's a real one, fam. When he's asking Fushiguro, which it almost feels as though when things like this happen, I feel as though it's a social commentary. Not even a social commentary, because it's not like a big grander discussion. It's more so just a commentary from like the author and possibly the audience of Fushiguro's character, because Fushiguro, he's a cool dude and everything, but there's not like anything radical to his character, right? He's not like just like Yuji will make you laugh, Nobara will make you laugh. He's kind of just like pretty straightforward and serious. So when Todo is asking him about like, you know, what type of woman he's into, and he's like, yo, if you give me a boring answer, I'm gonna half kill you right here and now. And then when he's like, he gives like, you know, the answer that most women want to hear is like, as long as she's a cool person and all of that, everything else doesn't matter. And like even Nobara's impressed, which at the end of the day, I don't know if I'd ship Fushiguro Megami with Nobara. Like if anything, I probably would ship for Neverworld X Nobara, yeah, no. But when he gives that answer, Todo's like, I knew it, I knew you was a boring motherfucker, I knew it, fam, you were lame. And the fighting that goes on, and just, you know, the fact that we find out a big piece about Todo, that Todo essentially went up against Geto, that Geto actually tried it last year. A year ago, he actually tried it and he failed, and it was essentially one of the people that took him down and took down a lot of his people was Todo. Todo only uses cursed techniques on special grades, so dude is an absolute beast and a monster. And the fight between him and Megami, up until Megami was about to get serious, it wasn't much of a fight, and that's what kind of changed Todo's mind. And you see the look in his face, he kind of got scared for a moment when he saw that Megami was about to get serious, and then of course Panda shows up, and I'm like, Panda! I don't know, oh man, it's something about the Jujutsu Kaisen anime. Like, I was already on the manga for a long time. A lot of y'all that have been following me, y'all know I love the manga, yada yada yada, but it's something about that anime that it takes it to just another level. The voice actors, like, they bring out some of the characters, it makes you feel a certain more for them. Like when the Panda's like, if you do anything else, I'm gonna yell out, no! It was priceless. And then on the flip side, while all that is going down with Todo and whatnot, then you got the stuff with Mai and Nobara, and oh, you could tell Nobara was hating. Nobara was hating on that outfit. She kept on like, yo, you're gonna leave that outfit to me, and I ain't gonna lie, you gotta give Mai some credit. She laid out Nobara. She laid her out and then put the gat to her ribs and was like, yo, say something else, say something else. I was like, well, damn. But Nobara catching her off guard was really due to Maki. Maki giving her the little upper hand, because I want to say it said that Maki and Mai are actual sisters, and both of them don't really have the greatest techniques. Like Mai, she could put her cursed energy into like objects, and Maki doesn't have any curse energy at all. Like she's just genuinely like a regular person for the most part. So very interesting stuff there. But man, I loved a lot of things about that episode. You had like the epicness and comedy on one half with those two events going on alone, and then you on the opposite side of all of that, you got Gojo having a meeting with one of the higher ups of the whole, you know, Jujutsu sorcery system and whatnot. And I'm like, damn, Gojo, man, you know, people like to always compare, and we do that, you know, and it's fine as long as it's not toxic and whatnot. We compare like senseis and shit and like Gojo to Kakashi, but I gotta say that the way Gojo is moving, he's taking himself slowly out of that box of just being an ordinary sensei. Like he got the smoke for these motherfuckers. Like he's talking to that old dude in his face, and he's like shitting on him and everything, and he's like, yo, you know, when the time comes to throw down, I'm gonna throw down too. And it's also showcasing that they've kind of been suppressing a lot of things in this, you know, the system. So there needs to be a big change in the system as well. When Gojo is like, yo, we got motherfuckers coming up that you're not gonna be able to stop. And they mention a couple of characters in there that we have not seen, we've only heard whispers of, which is interesting because one of them we haven't even really seen at all. I don't even think, like, yeah, we just haven't seen one of them. Another one, I think it was Okotsu. He was actually the main star of originally of this manga, and in the Jujutsu Kaisen Zero story, you actually get to see him for like 3 or 4 chapters. He's actually now, you know, overseas or whatever, but we have those two. Of course, we have Geto, and then we got Sukuna inside of Yuji. Like, Gojo really sending them threats and shit, and I love that exchange as well. So you got like the kind of comedic but also serious bout between Megumi and Todo, Mai and Nobara, and then at the same time on the flip side, you got like Gojo essentially somewhat low-key waging war, but not quite just yet against the old man. I'm just like, god damn, I love Jujutsu Kaisen. And then the end of the episode, it switched to another vibe. We had comedy, we had action, we had some menacing threats going down, and then at the end it started leading into the next field that episode 9 is going to almost completely encompass, and that's horror. Because in the end we see the dude walking down the alley following Mahito. Mahito did some dastardly shit, because you see, like, I think you at first see in episode 8 like all the dead bodies inside the movie theater, and then you eventually see a glimpse of what's going to be really showcased in episode 9 of this guy, this Inspector Nanami, going into the theater with Yuji. And honestly, episode 8, everything that you could ask for from a Jujutsu Kaisen episode was in there. Comedy, action, suspense, thriller, horror. Like, that was an incredible episode. Underrated as hell as well, because I didn't see too many people going crazy about it. But I just gotta say again, shout outs to Todo, my guy, you up there for like, yo, I ain't gonna lie, when we see about the ticket and whatnot and her going to see the idol, Toto's idol and shit, I'm just like, this whole episode is my jam. And then the ending where the old man's assistant wanted that picture with Gojo, and I don't know, in case you can't tell by my expression, I had a great freaking time with episode 8. Shouts out to it. It was just absolutely awesome. But then episode 9, That's where the darkness starts to kick in of the horror elements of Jujutsu Kaisen. Now, where we're at in the manga right now, don't worry, no spoilers. It's just, I don't feel as though the vibe has been as heavy on horror as it's been here. Like, this really feels like a horror suspense anime right now. You could, honestly, if somebody dropped in at the end of episode 8 going into episode 9, they would think, oh, this is a horror suspense, maybe mystery type of series, right? Like, yeah, because episode 9 encompasses, we see this kid, Junpei, and it starts off with him getting bullied and the shit kicked out of him. These guys are kicking him out, saying, you were staring at her breast, you tried to touch her breast, how dare you? And he's like, yo, fam, what the hell? It kind of reminded me like an episode of Hellgirl or something like that, of like he's about to go and get the straw doll and wish them to hell or some shit, because they're mollywopping him for no freaking reason and bullying him and shit like that. And getting these 2 lines from him is what I feel as though showcases his character entirely and where he's at on the morality scale, per se. He says basically, if there was a button that could make everyone that he hated die, he probably wouldn't press it. But if there was a button that would make everyone that hated him die, if he pressed it, he would push it without hesitation. Meaning that, like, he would kill the people that hate him, but he can't kill the people that he hates, essentially. So, very interesting stuff there. If you, like, hear it at first glance, it sounds like he's saying the same thing, but he's not. Like, if you, all the people that hate him, he wouldn't mind having dead, but the people that he hates, he can't push the trigger, so to speak. Interesting character, but we see him essentially in the movie theaters following the big giant jumping that they did, and those same bullies are there disrupting the movie, you know, watching it loud as hell and this and that and the third, talking shit. And then that's where the story begins, because we see Mahito go in there, touches one of them, and you see his head start swelling up immediately, which they kind of toyed around like in the manga. I don't think they showed all of those particular scenes. Maybe I'm off, but I don't remember seeing immediately. It was more like a mystery at first of how the hell all these motherfuckers are just dead there, like their corpses are all disformed and shit like that. And it was just creepy. It was creepy seeing this Junpei guy there in the theater and everything that happened. And then he follows Mahito down the alleyway and he's like, yo, did you do this? How can I be able to do this? So you see that he's having, I guess, a liking. He's taking a liking to the darkness, which, yeah, he's being bullied. He's feeling like shit. His favorite movie that he's trying to watch, they're disrupting it and everything. He's having a hard time in life, so he's going to go down the dark path of anybody that's going to make him feel like he has the power to take control of his life, so to speak. And Mahito, very interesting character. You also got to think, wait a minute, the fact that he can see Mahito, this Junpei kid, that is something there. That means he has some type of connection to cursed energy, cursed power, whatever you want to call it. And Mahito is just enjoying it. And Mahito just seems like such a sinister bastard. The anime is doing such a great job with him. Then we get to Yuji and Nanami, that they're investigating the movie theater, trying to figure out what happened and whatnot. And Nanami, he comes across as pretty freaking rude. Essentially, he starts breaking down to Yuji because Yuji is looking for praise. He's like, oh, that's nothing to praise, you know. Like, you can see, he reminds me, any Tokyo Ghoul readers would know, or watchers, I guess, not really watchers, the readers, like, let's not get into Tokyo Ghoul anime, but Akira Mato. He reminds me of that, where she's like, no, the honorifics don't matter, it's wasting time and shit like that. Except it's not more so about time, it's that he's basically like almost an unbiased party. He tried the regular life, he thought it was shit. He also thinks jujutsu sorcerers and all of that are shit. He thinks the higher ups are shit. He just thinks everything is shit. He's like, while I appreciate and I know I could count on Gojo, I can't respect him. Like, I'm just like, god damn, this dude. And his voice actor really fits him perfectly. Like, at first, I'm not gonna lie, when I'm seeing Nanami, I forgot for a moment that earlier on he was kind of not, you would argue, intolerable in a way, the way he talked to Yuji and shit like that. I was like, this boring piece of shit motherfucker. And I forgot how I felt about him in the manga, because when I'm watching anime, I'm like, damn, I really don't like him. I don't know, is the anime doing something? No, that's how he was in the manga. It's just coming to life and revisiting again after forgetting. It's like, yeah, Nanami comes off in the beginning as an asshole. Yeah. But even though he doesn't consider himself a teacher or an instructor or anything like that, he is helping Yuji very, very quickly. Like, immediately, he helps him to see cursed energies. Like, of course you could see it. Anybody could see it. That's nothing to praise. And I'm just like, god damn. Then they get to the rooftop and they see these two curses and they go into combat, and he starts to notice why Gojo sent Yuji with him, because he sees Yuji in action for the first time when they're fighting these things. And we see that there's like a flashback to the training of Gojo and Yuji, and how Yuji learned that technique of essentially it's like a double blow using his own raw strength, but then he gets a second hit as well with curse energy, which makes it even stronger, and the impact is crazy. But when you're looking at them, like in particular the one that Yuji took on and blasted a hole through, you see like this look on the face. I ain't gonna lie, because it's been a while since I read this, like, you know, I read a lot of shit, so I forget things sometimes. I'm like, why is there so much pain on that curse's face? Like, I get it, like, you know, they kind of have humanoid features or whatever. And then when it was reminded to me that, oh shit, yeah, because we find out that essentially these were humans, and Mahito had to be the one, the culprit, that turned these humans. He morphed their bodies. He used his cursed energy, his cursed techniques to morph their bodies and infuse cursed energy into them, and that's why Nanami wasn't able to deduce immediately what was going on there. So essentially they somewhat killed humans, but they were already dead from the moment Mahito messed with them. So it kind of gave a way out so that Yuji doesn't feel guilty, even though he still feels guilty, but he wasn't the one responsible for their deaths. They were already kind of dead. They were Omaiwa Moshindaru when they got there. And everything I've talked about episode 9, if you're going to tell me that this doesn't feel like a horror suspense or some shit like that, you don't know horror, because all of this feels like horror. Ugly monster, curses, creatures and shit. The mystery, Junpei following Mahito. Every scene with Junpei and Mahito felt creepy, and at any given moment, if Mahito wanted to, he could turn this motherfucker into a saxophone or some shit. Then the end of the episode, Yuji is heading with the assistant to something else, and Nanami is going to go straight into the trap alone, which is going to lead to what we see the next episode, episode 10's preview, preview, a battle, I guess spoilers, but it's from the preview. If you've seen the preview, you know what I'm talking about, of Nanami versus Mahito. Honestly, episodes 8 and 9 of Jujutsu Kaisen greatness. Like, what more can I say? Just absolutely greatness. Episode 8 was a variety of multiple different feels, introductions to characters, Gojo seeing where he's at right now, his training with Yuji continuing. Episode 9, just dark. It felt like a horror series and just greatness. Honestly, I'm curious what you guys think about all this though. What do you think about Todo? What do you think about Mai? What do you think about Nanami? Your thoughts on Junpei and Mahito's relationship and whatnot, and your thoughts overall the last couple episodes of Jujutsu Kaisen. Do you agree with me that it feels truly like a horror anime at times? Like, yeah, greatness. But that is all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Hit that bell to get all notifications. And if you want to follow any of my other social media, links in the description below. I'm from Neverworld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule. Anime and manga for life, boy. Have an awesome day. Peace and in case you couldn't tell, go watch Jujutsu Kaisen, fam. It's great. It's amazing. Yeah.
It's nights like this, and times like this, that I can give another hit. But I've got this inside a switch, a natural bliss, but that I miss.